Terima kasih Puan Nur Aslaili atas the introduction just now. Assalamualaikum semua. Nama saya Zulkiflee Umar daripada Suruhanjaya Tenaga. And topik saya is normally it's just a typical topic saya present is about energy efficiency energy efficiency initiatives in Malaysia. Mula-mula sekali, please allow me to speak in both language, bahasa Malaysia dengan bahasa Inggeris, because when it comes to energy efficiency, selalunya saya akan sebut EE sahaja. Okay. When it comes to low carbon city framework, as I read from this narrative from MGTC, Malaysian Green Tech Corporation, there are 4 main areas when it comes to low carbon city framework. Number 1 is urban environment, number 2 is urban infrastructure, number 3 is urban transportation, and lastly is building. So what I wish to focus today is on buildings, energy efficiency initiative in buildings in Malaysia. Okay, next slide please. Thank you. All right, saya selalu start dengan the overall EE initiatives in Malaysia since 1996. We can go along the roadmap and we can see that there is so many EE initiatives that has been conducted since 1996 sampailah sekarang. Cuma saya punya gambar kat situ is only up to 2018 because 2019 and 2020 it's about drafting the new Energy Efficiency Conservation Act. So as you can see in 2008 kita dah ada our first regulation on energy efficiency, which is known as Efficient Management of Electrical Energy Regulations 2008, which requires semua large energy user di Malaysia untuk melantik pengurus tenaga elektrik and to manage their punya energy consumption, especially electricity. Now, as we go along the road, we can see that there is an initiative by Green Building Index. If you recall, GBI index, which is to be displayed at the building and shown what sort of certification they have achieved, whether it's platinum, gold, or silver. We have quite a few demonstration projects such as BSIP in 2010-2016. We have a SAFE program in 2011 to 2013. SAFE program is basically where we give out rebate to those who purchase five-star appliances, mainly air conditioner and refrigerator. We also have another demonstration project called Industrial EE for the manufacturing sector, short for IEE MMS, where we wanted the industry to adopt the ISO standard 50001 energy management system. And in 2013, once again, we have another regulation in place that is for domestic appliances, mainly for aircon, fridge, TV, fan, and lighting, which is known as minimum energy performance standards. At the same year, we introduced energy performance contracting in the government sector, where the government does not need to invest in any energy saving measures, but instead the energy service company will do so. Okay, and our biggest project so far started in 2016, which is known as National Energy Efficiency Action Plan 2016-2025, where we targeted that in 2025 we will reduce about 52,000 gigawatt hour electricity using energy saving measures that is listed in the 10 years plan. Next slide, please. Right. Our basic approach on energy efficiency from our perspective is number one, we have to look at economic measures. We have to understand what sort of economic ability that the people has in order to come up with a certain requirement for energy efficiency. For example, when we do our MEPS, minimum energy performance standards requirement, we make it such a way that it is the most common item that will be purchased by everyone, including you and me. Number two is persuasive measures. We also need to persuade the industry, the users, and whoever related in order to create awareness and interest in order for them to start doing energy saving measures. The other one that we did is prescriptive measures. This is where we come up with the standards, guidelines, act, and regulations, so for people to follow. The last one is, of course, research and development and demonstration project. R&D is always conducted by the industry players such as aircon manufacturers and all that. And demonstration project is where we demonstrate what sort of buildings that we can have. For example, energy efficient building in Energy Commission energy efficient building, which is currently the most efficient building in Malaysia, which I need to put it in. And also there are other efficient buildings such as the MGTC building in Bangi, our former ministry, the current energy sector ministry in building E4, E5, which is using energy below 100 kilowatt hour per meter square per year. Next, please. Thank you. Okay. I always start my sharing session with you with what is the energy efficiency legal framework that we have in Malaysia. Next, please. Okay, as I mentioned in 2008, we have what we call the Efficient Management of Electrical Energy Regulation 2008, which applies to big users of electricity consumption, which says that whoever uses equal or more than 3 million kilowatt hour for a period of 6 months consecutive will be subjected to the regulation, and they have to appoint an energy manager, electrical energy manager, to manage their consumption. In 2013, we have an amendment made to our electricity regulation 1994 to include the MEPS requirement for 5 appliances I mentioned just now. And also under the Energy Commission Act 2001, we have a requirement in there that says that Energy Commission is to promote efficiency, economy, and safety in the generation, production, transmission, distribution, supply, and use of electricity, and also to promote the use of renewable energy and the conservation of non-renewable energy. Okay, so and in Electricity Supply Act 1990, Part 5A says that under Section 23A, Minister to determine standards when it comes to energy efficiency in terms of electricity consumption, and 23B, installation to meet requirements, and Section 23C, equipment to meet requirements. So that is where we get the power to come up with the regulation of 2008 and also 2013. Next, please. Okay, next. As I mentioned just now, any big installation in Malaysia, which uses equal or more electricity of amounting to 3 million kilowatt hour for a period of 6 months, whether they generate, whether they consume, they have to appoint a designated registered electrical energy manager, which is registered by Energy Commission. They have to submit a written confirmation of such appointment to us. They have to submit information such as a statement of policy, objective of their energy management of electrical energy, and the accounts and documentation pertaining to efficient management, where it relates to what we need, because we will double check whatever submitted with us with what we receive from our licensee. Now, at the end, they also have to submit reports on what they have conducted so far in terms of energy saving measures. Okay, next. Right. Requirement to become energy managers are Malaysian citizen age 23 years and above. If it's a professional engineer with at least 6 months of working experience in energy efficiency. For a bachelor degree holder, it has to be a degree in science, engineering, architecture with at least 1 year working experience in electrical energy efficiency. And if they hold a certificate of competency with Energy Commission as an electrical service engineer or competent electrical engineer with at least 9 months working experience in electrical energy efficiency. And they also have to demonstrate knowledge in the requirement of the Act, basically Energy Supply Act, Electricity Supply Act, and the regulations related. The main duties and functions of energy managers is basically to audit and analyze the total electrical energy consumption, to advise in developing, implementing measures, to monitor implementation, to supervise the records, and to ensure timely submission. Next. These are some of the activities under the regulation that we have conducted so far. Of course, enforcement is number one. We also did conduct energy management audit. We also do a continuous monitoring using our energy management information system. Next. These are our achievements so far. As you can see, there are about 1,900 installations subjected to the regulation. And so far, we have managed to get about 1,354 of them to appoint energy manager. Thank you. Next, please. Thank you. All right. Before I go along on the MEPS, the reason why I wish to focus on building is because in low carbon city framework, the target is actually carbon emission reduction. On top of that, when you calculate, you can also calculate the unit reduction in terms of kilowatt hour of kilojoule or gigajoule. Now, buildings play a crucial part in low carbon city framework because they consume about 40% of energy that we produce. Okay? This happens everywhere, not just in Malaysia, all around the world. And they also consume 70% of the electricity we generated. It might be commercial building, it might be residential building. The building itself consumes lots and lots of energy that we produce. So buildings at the moment, under our definition, we divide into two, where it's residential building and also commercial buildings. So MEPS development is basically focusing for residential buildings, where there are about 7.7 million registered consumers under TMB. So that's a lot of numbers that we can focus on. So MEPS actually is developed to address the EE issues in residential buildings, some in commercial buildings. So what we have done is that in May 2013, we have amended our Electricity Regulations 1994 to include the MEPS requirement, whereby 5 main appliances, that is aircon, fridge, TV, domestic fan, and lighting, are required to adhere to our MEPS requirement. If they are not going to be allowed to be sold in our market. Okay, so how do we implement MEPS? It's like we put an energy rating label there. So our minimum MEPS is 2-star. If you see any product in the market in Malaysia which is 1-star, then that is illegal. Please inform me so we can do our due enforcement work. Okay, so it is a 2-star requirement and maximum 5-star. 5-star being the most efficient equipment, and these 4 appliances, except for lighting, are required to be labeled with the energy rating label. Okay, we have produced 5 Malaysian standards in order to address the MEPS issues in Malaysia. So it can be a reference to anyone who wish to produce or import these 5 electrical appliances into Malaysia. Okay, thank you. Next. So these are the sample of the picture of the label, where it shows what sort of a appliance type that this label refers to, the brand and the model, and the energy consumption per year, as well as the energy savings compared to this 2-star rated product. Okay, they also have a testing standard use. Of course, whenever we want to improve on appliances, we have to refer to the testing standards from a recognized testing body. So this is what it refers to. So I wish to promote that if we can afford it, let us all buy a 5-star product, because it gives us the maximum efficiency, and also it gives us the most quick return of investment. Okay, thank you very much. Next, please. All right, now we get to the best part of it, which is how do we regulate buildings in Malaysia in terms of energy efficiency? We have so many initiatives. We call it voluntary initiatives, such as Green Building Index, such as Green RE. We have in the government sector what we call MyCRES or Penarafan Hijau, where we wanted the building to become more efficient. The building should be constructed to be in a very efficient manner, so that they become energy efficient buildings. Not just now, but 50 years from now, they are still an energy efficient building. So that is what we are focusing now. So we have come up with an initiative where within our jurisdiction, we can label the building based on the energy consumption that they use in terms of the unit of kilowatt hour per meter squared per year. Basically, what we did is that we measure the energy consumption of that particular building in terms of 1 meter squared space and the amount of energy that they use. Excuse me. So we have started with in government buildings at the moment. We have labeled more than 200 government buildings in Putrajaya and also in Kuala Lumpur, and it gives us a target of about 5,000 buildings in the next 5 years, where we aim to label in the 5 years time. So as I mentioned just now, the benefits of this labeling, basically the reason for it is because 40% of energy produced are consumed by buildings. That is a lot, actually. That is a lot. So we need to focus on having a much more efficient buildings, and one way of doing it is, number one, by using energy efficient appliances. Number two, by making the building or constructing the building in energy to become an energy efficient building. So we have started BI in government buildings. The purpose of it in government is basically to accelerate efforts to making government buildings energy efficient through government lead by example, to provide and disseminate information to building occupants on energy usage in performance of building, to create a new platform for peer review among government building performance, to help government achieve national commitment to reduce GHG emissions intensity of GDP by 45% in 2030. Next, please. These are the label that has been approved by the cabinet. So, of course, it's ranging from 1 star to 5 star. So 1 star being not efficient at all, and 5 star being the most efficient. Currently, we are focusing on office category building. We are moving towards hospitals, schools and universities where we have to create their own specific rating so we can label them. So BI is calculated in kilowatt hour per meter square per year, wherein we calculate the annual energy consumption and we divide by the net floor area. So that's how we get the BEI. Next, please. Thank you. So this is again is our rating, where 1 star is whichever buildings that consume energy more than 250 kilowatt hour per meter square per year, and 5 star being building who consume energy less than or equal to 100 kilowatt hour per meter square per year. At the moment, Energy Commission building is consuming about 57 kilowatt hour per meter square per year of energy. Thank you. Next, please. This is our target, as I mentioned just now. We are targeting that in the next 5 years, we can have more than 5,000 government buildings to be labeled using the BI label. We are concentrating on office building, hospitals, universities, and schools actually at the moment, because those are most of the government buildings that we have. Next, please. This is our target in terms of savings. Of course, we always look at it from the perspective of units, kilowatt hour, gigawatt hour, in terms of RM and in terms of kiloton CO2 equivalent. So for the first phase of implementation, we are targeting to save 20.8 gigawatt hour of electricity, about 7.6 million of in the saving in bills that we need to pay to TMB and other energy suppliers, and also about 14.44 kiloton of CO2 that we can reduce. And at the end of the day, by the time we finish phase 3, we are targeting to achieve about 600 gigawatt hour of energy reduction, electricity energy reduction, about 219 million ringgit that can be saved from the bills that government have to pay, and about 415 kiloton of CO2 that we can reduce. Next, please. Okay, so what we are doing with the National Building Energy Label is not to compete with existing building ratings that we have in Malaysia. We have quite a few actually. We have LEEDs, as you can see there. We have BCA Green Mark from Singapore. We have Green Building Index. We have Green Pass. We have Green RE. My apology to Green RE for not putting your label there. But basically what we are doing is to complement them by making the building to be more efficient. Then if they are not able to do it themselves, then the building owner can source out assistance from those rating tools that I've put it there. You know, so these people can help them. These experts can help the building owner to become much more efficient, and also to be labeled not just with the BI label, but also with the label that is being produced by the great rating tool. So what we are doing here is actually the first move to assist government buildings to be certified as green building. I forgot to mention that our Prime Minister's office has been certified 5-star rating and also platinum rating by GBI. So that's a great achievement that we have so far, and becomes an example to other government buildings to follow suit. Okay, next please. All right, next, please, thank you. Okay, the way forward in Malaysia in providing EE, these are the things that we have encountered in promoting and regulating EE in Malaysia. Number one, we do admit that investing in EE can be a bit expensive. So that's why we are coming up with a funding mechanism, working with local financial institutions, working with Bank Negara, working with government agencies such as MDV to provide funding for those who wish to embark on EE projects. We are also constantly working with training institutions to increase the resources in terms of energy managers, more energy auditors. We are also looking for effective and sustainable funding mechanism for EE project, which is sustainable. We still currently doing our enforcement work from time to time in order to ensure that the saving measures are implemented. We constantly working together with NGOs and any association in terms of awareness program. We visited university, we talked about EE and sharing about what we have been doing and what we know with everyone. The other thing that we are currently doing is the drafting of the new Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, which not just covered electricity, but also thermal energy. And as you know, thermal energy, which includes other fuels such as natural gas, and diesel, and petrol, we have not really looked into the energy efficiency part of it. But under this new act, we will start looking into it and start regulating the requirement. So those are the way forward for EE in Malaysia. Next, please. Yes, before I end, as I mentioned just now, please look into the perspective of building energy efficiency. In many countries, such as in Europe and in other developed countries, even in Singapore, they have made it mandatory for buildings to be constructed in an energy efficient manner. In Singapore, they have made green mark requirement mandatory. So whether you are new buildings or you are existing buildings, you need to follow to the requirement of green mark. In some other countries, they have their own rating tools where buildings efficiency are to be part of the requirement if you were to purchase or acquire or sell a building. It becomes a factor that determines the price of that building. So it is quite important for us to look into buildings other than transport and the rest, because it's what we are focusing at the moment. If you talk about low carbon city framework, if you talk about city, mainly it's about buildings. So with that, thank you for listening to me, and hope that I've shared to you what the sharing session was beneficial to you, and thank you very much. Thank you.